fascism? Well, it doesn't happen because one cycle an authoritarian is elected, because the Electoral College wants it that way, or too many of the non-fascistic types stayed home, or some third party siphoned off the necessary votes. Your state is fascist, or it ain't. If it ain't naturally so, the fascist individual doesn't stand a chance. If it is naturally fascist, they will always have a shot. Ha ha ha. Or more clearly, the state is fascist no matter who is in charge. Signs you have a bad case of fascistic tendency. Are your people led to believe from their youngest days that their nation is better than the rest? The reasons may be many: your God, your constitution, the racial makeup of the majority of your nation, a history written that proves your nation's exceptionalism that cannot be questioned. A nation can sail along for generations sustained by these illusions as long as the world allows. Once these certainties are shaken, however, challenged slightly or outright discredited, the nation reveals itself as fascist. It has no other recourse. It is a kind of national psychosis or narcissism that has taken hold. If one is born perfect, any evidence of imperfection must come from outside, from the other. There's a fox in the henhouse of heaven. Fascism is a brother to democracy because some democracies too claim perfection, some in a naturally fascist state. When a majority consent to a set of values and all is well for the majority, democracy works for them. When this consent is manufactured and naturally phrased, when religious values are not shared by all of us, authoritarianism lurks. When a democracy is challenged from within, when its outcomes do not satisfy the great majority of the demos, fascism, its shadow, awaits. As the Greeks found cycling democracy and tyranny in and out of favor, one after the other, the one relied upon the other. Shared values are a wonderful thing, but they always imply a degree of coercion. The day after 9/11, the state assumed, the democratic state, that the attack had no justification beyond some pathetic bleatings about envy, which revealed what was the only explanation a supremacist state could have. We never do anything to deserve this. These were evildoers from an axis of evil across the seas. The day after 9/11, the powers that be reverted to their shadow authoritarianism. The Patriot Act and the technological miracle coincided to make us more surveilled than any Russian, any Soviet ever. And we agreed to it. A natural fascist reaction to an intimation that we were hated and the haters must be rooted out. We, the citizens, are so convinced of our nation's angelic intentions and dealings toward the rest of humanity that the actor against us must be evil and dealt with accordingly. We seem to need to believe lies about ourselves, our ancestors, and claim the right to believe them as a human right. This winds up being a right to religious worship, nation worship, culture worship, hot dog worship, self-worship. Most religions amount to ancestor worship. The older the books, the better, written when the writers were closer to the source. We feel, did you know him? Not really, but I had a great uncle who touched a piece of the cross, the hem of his garment, once. Zion imagined, a place where Jews can live together untroubled by non-Jews. It sounds lovely until you try to pry it apart from the Ku Klux Klan and Tommy Robinson. We have written stories of peaceful hobbits living undisturbed in pastoral shires. Monoculture is a sort of heaven on earth. We think. We quickly forget. How quickly we forget. See Europe in the Middle Ages. What is heaven but a place where you are certain everyone has passed the test of goodness? America was invaded by people who believed they were seeking the place to do exactly that, always seeking this self that will only manifest in this place, surrounded by others like us. I just didn't, but I might have imagined this one day too long ago, but I didn't. That kind of homogeny never appealed to me because I think the versions of this person I have seen were made small by this desire, by this imagining of themselves. The world, you see, is full of pieces of me, not some silly single identity that exists in an alien climate forever, like being in outer space somehow. I was thinking this thing today. I am a huge lover of Christmas, and I didn't used to be. And now, I hear those songs, and it doesn't matter how old the songs are, which choir is singing them, or which Bing Crosby or David Bowie, or it doesn't really matter, Bruce Springsteen. It really doesn't matter to me. And the Christmas lights, especially the white ones and all that sort of stuff. I'm entranced by it, and I can't really attach it to anything that I remember, because it was not a part of my family. I'm not religious. I'm not monotheistic, and I can't recall feeling, apart from present anxiety. I can't recall feeling a tremendous relationship to family. It was always quite oppressive, really. It was full of stress and how one was supposed to feel, and poor mum, it was always a big onus on her, and she felt that burden very heavily, and one always wished she could be freed of it, so we all washed the dishes and made our attempts to assist with the dinner, which she found deeply irritating. So that kind of thing. But somehow, I don't know why, it's become quite a marvelous thing to me. Slightly trying to work it out, but there's something about the collective sense of it, those songs and those bells and that sort of thing, the mixture of the ancient and the modern, and the hush that falls over the world in some sense, that when the snow falls and all that kind of stuff. It's really quite it's what is it? It's archetypal, I guess. It's universal. It's unconscious, it seems to be. But when I thought about it like that, or as I thought about it like that, and this is really, really blatant and obvious to my psyche, to my realization in the last decade, I would say, especially since both of my parents are now passed. So it's not part of all of that. It's not a family thing. It feels like a sort of a facet of individuation, and it leaves one loving family, parents, friends, as a separate thing. It's not triggered by Christmas, and maybe for some people it is, and I think that's just great if that's how it is, but it's not that way for me. It's almost like something is triggered in me that is indescribably ancient, beyond my faculties to imagine, something so deep and primal that has nothing to do with all the stuff that the gifts and stuff like that. It has to do with the sound and the sights and a cold night.